want to jump straight to the cheese details and the review, I'm going to have the time notes just below. Maybe I'll have a title card here if you need to jump to it. You can go ahead and go do that right now if you want to. Otherwise, let me tell you a little bit about some backstory about why we're doing this. So on this channel, my goal is to review all kinds of different cheeses. I feel like we are very familiar with like the mozzarella, parmesans, and like the cheese that's in foods. We haven't really explored the nitty gritty, but all the various different unique types of cheeses that we have that exist in the world. There's European cheeses, there's like the Czechoslovakian cave cheese that I had one time, all the different kinds of blue cheeses, and all the, there's so many kinds. So I want to take you with me as I explore and check them out, rate them and review them. And you know, I think the idea is to try to find an ideal cheese, or not an ideal cheese, but one that I think we'll pick as kind of like some favorites or some ones that we like to enjoy. So the review parameters of this cheese will be in the tasting section. Mainly what we'll talk about is some of the brief details that we can find out about this cheese based on the packaging and what's kind of known on the internet. We can also, you know, I'm going to go through this book here, this little cheese tasting book that I have, and we'll be kind of going through the different, let's see, milk sources, talk about the smell and texture, the overall taste, and the various types of flavors that this cheese may have, as well as kind of the overall feel rating and how we kind of feel about the cheese, and maybe some ending thoughts when I get to the end of it. Okay, I turned on the lights for this next segment, but let's talk about the Grana Nana by Mt Lehman Cheese Company. So some particular details about this cheese, and I'm just going to go off my notes here in my book. This is a very hard cheese. It's a Grana style cheese. Now Grana is the Italian term for a hard type cheese. And normally, it's actually used for like grating type cheese. It's actually recommended as a substitute for Parmesan if you want. I think at the end we'll talk a little bit about how that really works. It has a very thin rind, and I found that it was actually very hard. Not something I would eat. It's very inedible. The age is unknown, but given that it's a hard cheese, I suspect that that's probably been aged for probably quite a few months. A lot of the softer cheeses that we've had, I think they're not aged as much, but when they get to the harder cheeses, I think they generally are more aged. We'll have to figure that out as we explore more cheeses, but that's the general trend I've seen so far. It's from Abbotsford or Agassiz, BC, based on the type of milk that they have. And yeah, let's dig into it. So this is my favorite part of the video, which is tasting of the cheese. This one is actually sourced from goat's milk, which gives it a very distinct flavor. I think it'll be present when we go through the flavor wheel aspect. Provides just this very unique flavor of the cheese. Yeah, it's got a very. The minute you open up the package, there was this, the minute I opened up the package, there was this very strong scent that came from it. It was quite strong actually. If you smell it right now, you can actually smell it is quite strong. So on a scale between odorless and strong, I would say the smell is very much in the strong section. Now, if we're talking about the texture, that is the firmness, or whether it's soft or hard, this one definitely rates closer to the firm or hard. I don't know if you saw in the cutting videos, I was actually kind of having to push with both my hands in order to cut the cheese, and that took. It took quite a bit of effort, and it actually shook the camera a little bit. And so I would put this kind of in the firm to hard territory. It isn't the hardest I've cut for cheese, but definitely right up there with some of the firmer stuff that I've cut. Now in terms of flavor wheel, let's give it a shot here. Just got a full mouthful of cheese. Sorry, let me try that again. I need a bit of a water break, so I'm just gonna retry this again. The flavor of this one's very interesting. Initially I got it very salty flavors. As I'm going through the flavor wheel, there's not a lot of sweetness, it's not grassy. It does have a little bit of an earthy taste to it. We keep going around that flavor wheel. It's not buttery, nutty, caramelly, bitter or sour, but we do get a little bit of like sharpness from the flavor, and there's also a slight bit of mold in there as well. But I think some of the strongest flavors though is definitely the salty. Another one I'll mention is also the lactic flavor, almost like a milky type flavor. I think that comes from a little bit from the fact that it's goat's milk, so it has this very unique flavor to it. And I think that attributes to the lactic flavor that comes from it. So strongly salty and lactic, a little bit of earthy flavor. It is quite sharp and a little bit of moldy. It's pretty good. It's good mold, not the bad kind, but it is pretty good. It does add some flavor to it. Now, some other anecdotes I will add on top of that is that actually the aroma is very strong. So if you like a strong smelling cheese, this is definitely it. It's actually quite piercing when I smell it a bit. The mouthfeel is actually interesting too, because it is a very hard cheese, so it is a bit chalky, but I found that also, despite being chalky and a little bit dry, because it's a hard cheese, it actually does have a little bit of a smoothness to it. Not a strong smoothness, but some smoothness. My final thoughts on this one is that it's not a cheese I think I would eat on its own necessarily, so it isn't one of my favorites, but it is a good cheese to consider when pairing with other things. So as mentioned previously, it was a good alternative to Parmesan, so maybe something maybe shredded and flaked on a pasta, but overall it's just it is a unique kind of cheese, and if you do like that kind of flavor, where it's got some saltiness and it's very lactic, or i.e. milky, I think you'll find that you like this cheese quite a bit. So that's the Grana Nana cheese. It's a Grana style goat cheese as made by Mt Lehman Cheese Company. And yeah, a very interesting cheese to say for sure. I don't know if you can see that right there. Yeah. Really cool cheese. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment if you have some cheese that you're kind of interested and kind of curious about me trying out. There's a whole world of cheese, so I think there'll be many different options to try. Definitely have Manchego on the list, as well as a Cassaggio Robusto Gouda that I think I reviewed before in my old series. I'm probably going to do again. I think I have it in the fridge right now. But in the meanwhile, thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.